Jayden,
Hey, Logan.
Jay, hey, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Can you see me?
No, I can't. Not yet.
Okay, hold on one second. Let's see this. Uh, do you have to press the start video button?
Um, I would assume so. Yeah. I There you
Okay.
go.
I think I
Yeah,
got
you're
it.
on.
Okay. Hey,
What's up? Here we are.
sorry about that.
Episode one officially. Kind of episode two. Pilot went pretty well. Pretty well. We
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. Got some positive feedback on the pilot episode, which is pretty exciting. I had a feeling we would after we finished recording. I know we were a little iffy there during the process, but once we finished, I had a feeling that people were gonna like it. So I knew we'd be back. Either way, it's a pleasure to be back. I'm excited to hear your pitches and go through this tonight.
So keeping in theme with last episode, let's see what are you sipping on tonight?
Another Cabernet Sauvignon. This time it's a different vintage. This time, last time I believe it was a 2018 vintage. This one's a
I guess that's
2022. It's a little newer. Which I didn't realize that when I purchased it, but it is pretty good. It's surprising. You would think. Yeah. So it's Cabernet. Yeah.
wow, yeah.
How about you?
I'm a tried and true. Well, just a little Michelob Ultra, keeping it casual,
Hey, maybe we'll get a
a little low
sponsorship.
carb. Hey, maybe, and that's what I want to talk about. Actually, before we really jumped into it, was I am already having sponsors on the brain. If you're watching this and you have a company or a brand, hit us up. We will work something out. I can promise you that.
Yep. Uh, Sure, that would be great. It's not something I've thought about really, but yeah, if we could get some sponsorships, that would be a big boost to the show. Uh, and they'd be
Show's got
wise
to
to
have
do it
sponsors.
because it's looking like this is going to be a future hit. Pilot episode, it's not
Broke the
breaking
internet
the
a little
internet
bit.
or I'd say it's not breaking the internet. Uh,
I would say it
but
is. I would say it is.
I would say that it's sticking in the minds of those who see it, and they're probably telling their friends, and they'll probably tell their friends about this one. So we're looking at a steady growth because people just love to hear ideas and share ideas. So
Well, I'm just saying that pilot that did more than quadruple our subscribers on the Good Clean Fun YouTube channel.
that's true. That is a
So
true
that
metric.
is
So
exponential growth. I'm just saying, if we can keep that going, so long, Mr. Beast. Bye bye. It's me looking down at Mr. Beast after we're on the top of the YouTube game.
Mr. Beast is an
But
interesting one.
so
We don't have to talk about Mr. Beast. What were you gonna say?
well, no, what were you gonna say about?
I
You
was gonna
said
say
Mr.
Mr.
Beast.
Beast
What do
has
you
some interesting content, but it's never appealed to me personally. That's all. I find it a little
Yeah.
elementary, you know what I mean? It's just,
Well, it is. I
oh.
mean, you're 25. You're almost 26 years old. It's not really. You're not really the target audience. I don't think. I
Anyways,
guess. I
we're not
mean,
here to talk about Mr. Beast.
that's not. We're not here to talk about Mr. Beast and the nuances of Mr. Beast videos. Um, But speaking of internet celebrities, I guess I am getting excited for our guests coming up. Mr. Beast would be a fun guest, honestly.
Hmm,
Um, so I think I don't want to give anything away, but I think we have a guest locked in for next episode.
very
Don't want to
excited
spoil
about
it,
that.
but I think we got a guest locked in for next episode. And as this thing grows, let's fast forward 5 years. All right, let's say this we're on top. We're the new Joe Rogans or the new uh two bears one cave, you know or damn um but we're big, so who would be your dream guest?
My dream guest, huh? Um, That's a tough question. I haven't really thought about that. You're dreaming big. You're thinking far ahead. Hmm. I need to think. What about you? You must have an answer primed and ready.
I do. As I've been thinking about it, and we would have to see quite a bit of success. But my dream guess, and might not be realistic. Caesar Milan.
Okay. Caesar Milan.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, the dog guy, right?
Yep, the dog whisperer, as he was known.
Just curious, why is he your number one pick of all the people in the world? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking you just to kind of elaborate a little bit.
I'm just saying, I want to know what's going on in his um, his cuckoo corazon.
Nah, his noggin.
Yeah, because he's a genius in my mind. And I just want to know what makes those gears turn. I want to know what he's thinking up there. I want to pick his brain, see if I can just get a hint of a flash of genius.
Interesting
So yeah, it
answer.
would not.
I don't know much about Caesar Milan. I've never thought of him in that way. Again, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying that I'm a bit ill-informed on him and his work. So I'll have to do some research. Good answer.
Well, more of a reason for him to be a guest on here. You can learn more about him.
Hmm.
Um, all that to say, exciting things coming up. But I guess core of the show. Let's just jump into these pitches.
I'm
I
excited.
have
I've been
got
looking forward to this all day. It was kind of a bad day, so this has definitely been on my radar and a huge bright spot for me. So let's hear it. I'm excited to dig in.
something happened today.
Oh no. It doesn't matter. That's not why I didn't say that to open a dialogue. I was just saying I've been looking
All right,
forward to
yeah.
this.
I was just asking. Just seems someone's
Don't
on
worry
your
about
mind.
it. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I guess I can jump in. I got a just real quick idea. Really, no presentation for it. Just a little idea. It's a business idea. Um,
Let's hear it.
kind of self-explanatory. Hummer limo Uber pools.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Hummer limo Uber pools.
Hummer limo Uber pools.
Yeah. So you got Uber pools where you can pool together rides. You can carpool with strangers. Helps the environment. Saves each of you money. And they can do that with a Hummer limo.
Okay. So it's like a Hummer limo rental service essentially.
No, the Hummer limo is always driving around, just picking people up and taking them where they need to go. So it's like you can go to work, but have a little party while you're doing it. It's like you get a little taste of a Hummer limo for super cheap, party whenever you want.
I see, I
With
see.
strangers.
So it's like if a limo
Yeah,
driver had a second job as an Uber driver and he was driving around picking people up. They were having parties as they went place to place, town to town.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's an interesting idea, and I think I like it, but I guess I do need some clarification. So we're talking for like what's the pricing is really the main thing I think here because limos are typically fairly expensive. They're not cheap. And one of the conveniences of Uber is that you can get from place to place typically for a reasonable price. Sometimes they jack it up.
Right, and so
But
and so that's what makes this different is because it's an Uber pool. So a new normal Uber pool because Uber is relatively inexpensive, but sometimes getting to the airport costs you close to $100. In Uber pools, they allow you to split that cost amongst random people. You might have to take an extra stop or two, but like I said, save money, save the environment. So that's the same way with a Hummer limo. Those are hard to get your hands on. And trust me, I have tried a whole bunch and they're expensive. And but if you just had access to one that was just driving around all the time, anyways, a bunch of strangers in it, and you just put your name in that pool, pay just, I don't know, $40, something like that.
Well, hold on. So,
And
I'm gonna stop you right there. I was under the impression that this would be like a. I guess maybe I'm not understanding the pool thing because I was under the assumption that this
the
would be
Hummer
like
limo is just
you.
driving around all the time.
So
It's
it's picking up.
huge.
I guess I was thinking that like if you had a large group, you would call this thing and he'd be able to take all of you. But
No, 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 no,
he's
no,
pick.
no.
Oh, so
Then because
he's so the Hummer limo is
then you would just
picking.
rent your own limo. You just
That's
rent your
yeah.
own
That
limo.
that that was kind of my initial confusion. Um, which is why I initially compared this to a regular limo service. You're saying that this would be picking up strangers?
Big difference. Yeah. Granted, I mean, if you had one or two friends with you, yeah, you could hop on there. But like a Hummer limo, that's a big, big vehicle. You can cram. I mean, there might be some legal problems in there, but you can probably cram 40, 45 people in one of those bad boys
Okay,
driving around
okay.
all the
I'm
time.
I'm getting a better picture of your vision and it's compelling me, but I can't help but think of public transit, particularly the bus system. And I
Okay, but no,
it's
but think about that. Think about when you see a bus driving by, you're not like, man, I wish I was on that. I wish I was in there. But when you see a Hummer limo driving by, especially if it's like zebra print or something, you're like, I want to be in there. And with this app, you could be. You just hop on Uber and oh, that Hummer limo, that is a Hummer limo pool, a Hummer limo Uber pool. I can just hop right in. Maybe
okay.
pay by the minute. Just
Earlier
like
I
driving
asked
around.
you about pricing and I compared it to a normal Uber. What would the pricing be compared to a typical bus fare? Right? Because you're right. People don't look at buses, they don't think they're cool. But if it's $5 to $10 versus $50 to $60 for your Hummer limo, then
But that's what I'm
is
saying
that is that
is
is
I
that a
think
fair price comparison? Would that likely be the price for a 10-minute ride?
maybe, but like I don't think people would really be using this as much to like get to where they're going. I think it'll be more just to hang out, ride around.
Oh, so this isn't even a transportation device anymore. This is just
Well, it
it's a
could
party
be,
bus. It's a party bus, is what you're describing. It's hopping on a bus with a bunch of strangers. I assume there's bottle service.
probably just like you probably bring your own
So it's a BYOB party bus with a bunch of
Hummer limo, not a party bus.
but the concept is the same, right? It's just a bunch of strangers piling into this vehicle with their own booze and their own alcohol, and they are partying. What does that even mean? What is partying with a
I
bunch of
mean,
strangers like that in that sort of environment even look like? It sounds frankly, it sounds a bit unsanitary if you ask me. I mean, I'm not saying every stranger I meet out there is dirty, but a lot of them are. You know what I mean? You never know. Somebody could have substances that I'm not comfortable with. They could slip it into my drink. They could. This seems like a
say
recipe
la
for
vie.
disaster, frankly. Just you pile a bunch of people into a crammed, dark limo going with
Probably have
no
like
destination.
you could put a destination if you wanted to. Like it's got to go somewhere, so somebody's got to put a destination in. But what you're saying is like people are they going to be partying on this bus? Or on this on this limo? I would be. I can tell you that. And what would that look like? That's what I would love to find out. So I think we can probably just wrap this up. I'll just say that's one of many Hummer limo ideas that I have. Maybe we'll dive more deep into that later, but I think we'll put a pin in this. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good business idea, and I think it's got potential, but and I hate to be a dissenting voice. I know I had some critiques for your Mugs Galore idea last time we spoke. And I don't want to be disagreeing the whole time. That's not what this is about. But I see a lot of potential safety hazards to this thing as regarding the party aspect. And the lack of a proper, yeah, it might have a destination, but you're getting a lot of people on here with no destination. And if somebody has the time of day to hop into a Hummer limo without a destination and party, then I personally, I don't know if I would trust that person. I don't know if I would want to party with that person. So that's my 2 cents. I just think it's something to think about moving forward.
Okay. Guess you never heard of weekends.
But like, yeah, I could go out, I could go to a bar or a club with my
$1 billion
friends.
idea. It's $1 billion idea. We
I
can put a
digress. All
pin
right.
in. We'll come back.
I'm excited to hear how it develops, but I do think it needs some work.
Okay. It's a pitch.
Right.
Name of the show, pitch meeting.
I know. Yeah.
All right. So what do you have?
All right. So this week, kind of sticking with that comedy theme. That's something that I've sort of been passionate about lately is
Oh,
perfecting the jokes, and last week I gave you or 2 weeks ago, I suppose, I gave you sort of a half-baked joke. It was sort of a concept. This week I've got something a little more developed, and I really just want to hear your feedback. If you've got any pointers, if you've got anything that I could do a little differently. My delivery might not be perfectly spot on, so love to hear your perspective on all of that.
okay. All right. I'm in the mood to giggle. Let me hear what you got.
Okay. So you have this guy, right? And if this was a stand-up routine, I would probably be like, oh, my friend, because, you got to have that sort of connection with that sort of format. But for now, we'll just say there's a guy, right? And he's interested in learning how to code. He's very, he's a smart guy. He knows that computers are the future. He sees advancements in artificial intelligence, and other computers, and he says, that's where I want to be. So he decides to sign up for a coding class, right? He signs up for a coding class at his local university, and he arrives on his first day of class. He's so excited. He's got his laptop and everything. He sits down, and then the professor comes out, and the professor's a little disheveled. Not the computer expert this guy was expecting, not the coding expert he was expecting, but hey, whatever, you can't judge a book by its cover, right? So he's sitting here,
Right.
and this professor comes out, and the professor introduces himself, and then the professor starts talking about sex. And the guy's our main character, he's taken aback a bit. He's like, our professor's talking about sex. That's kind of weird. And when I say talking about sex, I mean this guy's talking about all the sex stuff, like like the positions and stuff. And the guy's thinking, all right, I guess this is just some pre-lesson banter. All right, it's odd choice, but whatever. He's fine. He's still excited. But the
Like real
professor
guy and
just
girl stuff. What pressure talk about real guy and girl stuff, right? The real deal.
Save your comments until after the joke, please. But then the professor just keeps on going. He just keeps on talking about sex. He's talking about coming and stuff
I
and
like this. I
all
like
that
this
stuff.
professor.
And the guy's like, and this guy's like, what is going on? This guy's kind of a creep. Like, I'm here to learn how to code.
Oh, this guy's kind of a nerd.
And then the teacher finally walks over to the podium, and he turned on the projector, and the student's saying, finally, here we go. Some coding lessons. And the professor turns on the video screen, and he starts playing pornography. The students had enough of it. The students had enough. He stands up. He goes,
All of them?
just the one student. He stands up, and he goes, what is this? I've had enough of this. What is going on? We're watching porn in class. You're a professor. You're talking to students about having sex and stuff. What's going on? This is disgusting. This is not right. And the professor's like shocked. He's like super confused. He goes, what's the problem here? And the student goes, What do you mean, what's the problem? You're showing us porn. You're talking about sex. It's disgusting, right? When are we going to learn how to code? And the professor goes, learn how to code? What are you talking about? And the student goes, what are you talking about? This is a coding class. This is HTML 101. And the professor goes, yes, I know. This is how to make love 101.
Not bad. It's I think it might would maybe work kind of like maybe work better in like a movie scene, sitcom, like situational kind of thing. I don't know if it'd be a great stand-up bit, as you mentioned.
Well, it would be if you like introduce that personal element, right? Because stand-up's all about storytelling. It's about personal connection. So if you said my friend, or even if you refer to the main character as yourself, then I think it would work a lot
But
better.
it's,
In
I mean,
that form.
it's it sounds about storytelling, but it's a lot of setup. It's all storytelling for there's no classes called How to Make Love 101 in college. I don't know what college this guy would be going to. And it just, I don't know. I'd like the professor, though. Honestly, the professor seemed like a cool guy to me.
Well, the professor,
Um,
yeah, he's a cool guy. He's doing his job, but you don't know that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of
Which
setup.
is
Like,
the
it's kind
joke.
of, there's really no punches thrown. It's kind of, there's so much setup that by the time you're like, obviously he's in the wrong class. Like, this is obviously not a coding class. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the idea is there. It's pretty funny, I guess. Like I said, it's like situational irony.
Well, the
Uh,
joke is actually that he's not in the wrong class. He's in the exact same class that he signed up for. It just isn't what
maybe,
he expected.
hey, this kind of reminds me of is a Family Guy cutscene. So maybe pitch it to them.
I'm
Maybe
not.
pitch it to Family Guy.
I'm not taking this idea to
Maybe
Family Guy.
Quagmire.
This
Maybe
wouldn't work.
Quagmire is the professor.
This wouldn't work on Family Guy. It just wouldn't. They don't even have any college students. What are they going to introduce an entire new college student?
I'm just saying it
Uh,
could be like, oh crap, this is worse than that time that I went to the wrong coding class, and it's goes and Quagmire's the professor because we all know Quagmire, and then
no.
let's go see. And he says, "This isn't coding."
That's not how this would work. You know what? Your idea for
But
a
then we can get that
movie,
cutscene and we can put
your
that in one of
idea
our
for a
YouTube videos
movie
that we
was
talked about
not
last time.
bad. No, we're not doing Family Guy. I'm not taking this to them. I'm not taking this to Seth MacFarlane. All right, this
I'm just
is
saying
not for him.
we could milk this
I
on
think I
both
liked your
ends.
movie idea, but this is really supposed to work as like a sort of a long form sort of joke. And I bet you when this episode's over, you're gonna go back and you're gonna rewatch it. You're gonna hear me tell it again, and you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that was pretty funny."
Maybe I
Or at
will.
least you
Maybe I
would have
will.
thought
But
that if you hadn't interrupted the entire thing. But
it was just taking forever. We have 8 minutes left in this meeting. 8 minutes left. So can I?
all right,
I got
yeah.
another
Here,
pitch.
let's
I
hear
got
your
a whole
pitch.
slideshow.
Yep. You didn't really like
All right.
suggest how it could be better. You just sort of like told me it sucked. So, but no, that's cool.
I didn't say it sucked. All right. So my next pitch. This is a movie pitch. This is honestly, I full transparency. I did take some of our conversation from last episode or from the pilot, and that inspired this just a little bit. So some of it might sound a little familiar, but I think I made it pretty uniquely mine. So the characters, let me introduce them. Eric, that's the guy. And then of course, with any guy, there's a girl. That's Jade. And then Barbara, she's a bystander. And maybe they're teenagers. Just an idea. So Act 1, love is in the air. So Eric meets Jade and falls head over heels. Classic love story. She plays hard to get, but finally agrees to go on a date with him.
Can I
Right?
just add, sorry, can I interrupt real quick? Oh, sorry. Go ahead back and read that last slide. And then I'll give my 2 cents. I apologize.
Jade says, "You better not screw this up." while wagging her finger after saying yes to a date.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
She's
now I'll butt in because I just want to say I'm a fan already. This is reminding me of rom-coms that I used to watch. I feel like the age of rom-coms is sort of dead, and I don't know if this is a but the age of rom-coms is sort of dead, and it'd be nice for it to come back. And we've seen a few people try to bring it back, but nothing's quite landed, I don't think, at least not with mainstream audiences. So, anyways, continue. I'm excited. I'm excited about this.
I'll say, well, I won't spoil anything. Act 2, the date. On the date, Eric's stomach starts to rumble. Uh-oh. Scary music starts playing on this part. It gets very suspenseful and scary. And yeah, he farts. But Jay doesn't notice for now. So that's act 2.
That's an entire act.
I mean, well, this is just bullet points, I want to just get through it pretty quick. Like, obviously, there'll be more.
Um, yeah, I mean, it is reminiscent of the joke I told last time. I do like the fact that Jade doesn't notice. I think that's a good angle, and I think that's probably the most realistic angle here. But let's see what you've got. Let's see Act 3. Yeah,
Right.
I'll save the rest of my thoughts.
Act 3, now it gets crazy. Eric keeps farting louder and louder. His farts start getting super loud and powerful. People are getting hurt. Barbara hangs on to a street sign for dear life. And Jade doesn't seem to notice at all. Or does she? So this is it's kind of like a psychological action thriller kind of movie.
Yeah.
Borderline horror movie. Yeah. And then the final scene. So Eric lets out a fart that literally levels the building behind him. Jade says, what was that? Eric is scared as frick. And then smash cut ending, just like Insidious. You know the ending of Insidious?
I actually have not. Yeah, I actually haven't seen Insidious, but thanks for the spoiler. I'm just kidding. It's not really a spoiler, but yeah, it's I'm not sure this is a movie.
That makes you think sequel.
I'm not sure.
And we can talk about this once we get to the final slide, but drumroll please. Poster mock up on the next slide. I know we're running out of time, so I want to show this. Are you ready? So, all right. So, tell me your thoughts from that pitch that you just heard.
Well, for viewers or listeners who didn't tune into our first episode, let me clue you in here. If you did listen to our first episode, you know exactly what's going on here. And I hope you're as upset as I am. This is exactly my pitch from last week, turned into a movie.
It's not.
I pitched a joke which did not actually happen in real life, and Logan recommended I turn it into an A25 horror thriller. And I was not a fan of that idea. And it looks like he's gone ahead and done it. And you know what? This is exactly what you were talking about last time we talked. You were talking about how one day you could have the next Bill Gates on the show, and then you wouldn't even have to post their idea. All right. You were talking from the get-go about stealing ideas. And not only have you stolen my idea here, but you've made it completely inaccurate to the original idea. I mean, and you can't even deny it. It says Walnut Street. It says Walnut Street right there. That's the street that I mentioned.
It's just I just got a random street sign.
No, you didn't. You did not get a random street sign. That's Walnut. That's street signs for Walnut Street.
Oh yeah, because you talked about Barbara the whole time. You didn't even mention anybody named Barbara or Jade.
You're right. I didn't mention it. Yeah, there weren't any names involved, but the one specific that I did provide, which was Walnut Street, happens to be included prominently on your poster, even though it wasn't in the pitch.
super common name for
Besides,
a
this
street.
isn't a movie. This is not a movie. This is maybe like a short film.
We're visionaries on this show, man.
Look, I'm all in for an experimental horror film, but I don't appreciate that you took my pitch from, and we're all, I know we're here to refine each other's ideas, but I don't appreciate that you took it without informing
Okay,
me and try to spin it into its own unique thing. It's not its own unique thing. It's my idea.
you're reaching so far for this. Like this is a completely unique and new idea. Yeah, ounce of inspiration, but I mean, it's like make a song with notes that have never been played. Come on, this is its own thing. Yours was a joke. This is the next Hereditary.
No, this is a joke. What you're doing right now is the joke.
All right. Well, if there was a cut there in the edits because we had to stop one meeting, jump to another, we ran out of time. But that's about it. Pretty much just need to do the outro. This was episode 1, I guess. Kind of a
It was episode 2. It was episode 2.
well, we had like this like season 1, episode 1. We had the pilot, I guess. Kind of
It wasn't really a pilot though. It's like pilots are things that you send to studio executives to be like, hey, check this out. Just posting it to YouTube, that's not a pilot. That's just episode 1. So just wanted to clear that up.
either way, kind of a train wreck, to be honest.
I don't
But
think so.
room for improvement because
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was as strong of an outing as our first episode. I think what might have helped is if everybody had brought new and original ideas. I think that would have been a big help. Because that was the nice thing about the first episode is every idea was new and fresh, and this time felt like people were rehashing a lot of things. So
yeah. I mean, the first time, you like you weren't complaining about all the ideas, except for like Mug Score.
well, I guess I just think piling into a Hummer full of strangers is not the best idea. I'm just being frank. What is this show if we're not being honest?
That's true. I can respect that. Well, but I mean, I think things will get better once we start getting some guests on here, some new fresh ideas. Hopefully some cool guests. See them on. Maybe some good sponsors. Really good. Maybe we get some, upgrade our microphones, cameras a little bit. Yeah. Probably edit this down a little bit.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Logan. This has been a pleasure as always. I've enjoyed sharing some ideas with you.
Yeah, it was a good time. Excited to hear what you got for me next time. Hopefully, I'm
Get
excited to hear what our
excited.
guests have for us next time, and hopefully, you get that song that you're talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna debut that today, but I performed it at an open mic this week, and the audience they loved it, but
You went to an open mic?
yeah, I went to an open mic and I gave my song a test run and they loved it. They really did. But
Just like
I
sang, like guitar
personally,
singing.
yep. But personally, I know I felt like it needs some work. So hopefully next week it'll be a finished project or at least ready for some feedback, ready for a pitch. So
Sweet. Well,
I'll be
I'm
practicing.
eager
Don't
to
you worry.
hear it. I'm eager to hear it, man. And
And I know I've been throwing
you
out a
know
lot
what?
of jokes for my pitches, but this song's not that funny. It's pretty serious. So just something to keep in mind.
Well, I have been collecting a list of my next pitches, and on the inverse, I've got quite a few jokes, and I think I'm ready to start bringing some jokes to the table.
Excited to hear that, yeah, because I mean the business ideas, they're good, but they wear thin after a while, I think. So it'll be a nice change of pace.
Yeah, all right. Well, there we go.
All
Uh,
right,
pitch meeting, uh, episode, whatever we want to call this
episode
one.
2.
Sure. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.